Please let me know when you
started.
want me to start sharing the presentation.
Oh, that would be now.
Okay, here we go.
So good morning and welcome to our information session for City Tech 101, our newly created Intro to College workshop. I am Lori Aguirre, the Director of First Year Programs at the college, and I'm thrilled to be able to share with so many of you familiar and new faces, a glimpse of the wonderful workshop that we piloted last summer and have developed for larger implementation this summer and fall and beyond. Next slide. So here's our agenda for today. And just a note that we are recording this session to share with those who could not attend the Zoom meeting. I'm joined today by Professors Karen Goodlad from Hospitality Management and Sarah Perullo from English, the two talented and student-focused faculty members who created City Tech 101 last summer. And I just wanted to provide you with a quick overview of the workshop, its outcomes, the faculty professional development and expectations, and we'll wrap up with some time for your questions. And we just ask that you please make note of your questions as we go through the presentation, or you may type them into the chat and we will get to them when we wrap up. Okay, next slide, please. So before I turn it over to Karen and Sarah, I'd like to share first year program's rationale for creating this workshop. I would imagine that those of you who have signed up to be here today have witnessed a wide range of college preparedness in our students. And we at first year programs have been aware of this for quite a long time, as have many colleagues from across the college, from department chairs to folks in the registrar, new student advisors, including the provost and deans. And although the college has offered an orientation for new students each year, the participation at that orientation has only been about 30% of incoming students at best. Then faced with the pandemic, the onboarding and orienting of students has been even more challenging in preparing students for college expectations. Then at the same time, the first year program's funding shifted away from standalone developmental courses, which is what we've been focusing on for many, many years, and has allowed us to access the resources necessary to create this new workshop, City Tech 101. And I'm so happy for this opportunity to do that. And I must admit that for at least the past 10 years, this has been my dream as first year programs director, to develop a college prep course or workshop tailored to the needs specific of City Tech students. Next slide, please. So furthermore, to support our reason for creating this workshop, the rationale is supported by the college's strategic plan for the 2019-2023 cycle. I have copied some of the goals on the slide that align with the goals of City Tech 101, in particular, to cultivate a climate of welcome into our academic community, to create proactive navigation assistance, to promote open learning modalities, to enable learning through informed and caring support, to expand and improve processes and organizational structures to promote student success, and to advance equity for students, faculty, and staff across all units. And with that, I am turning over the session to the two dedicated faculty members who made this dream into a reality, Professors Karen Goodlad and Sarah Perullo, to provide an overview of City Tech 101. Karen.
Thank you, Lori. First of all, a very sincere thank you. I know that we helped your goal and vision come to life, but you've also trusted us in doing so. So we appreciate that very much so. Here on your screen, you'll see what Lori was speaking of when we have the outcomes that do align with the strategic goals of the college. The students are made aware of these right from the beginning. These are on the syllabus, so we help them identify the tools and strategies for virtual and in-person learning, right? We recognize that virtual learning will become a part, or is now a part of our future, and we want to recognize that here right when they kick off their experience. The resources available at the college, you'll see later on when we talk about some of the sessions that we do, we really bring the students deep into that, distinguish their major degrees, right? A lot of students come into City Tech and they are or are not aware of all that we offer, and they do or do not choose the right major for themselves. So we help them understand that. Vocabulary that's embedded through everything that we do. And then also, you know, the gen ed learning outcome of communicating in diverse settings and groups is really important because as our students expressed to us in the last couple of sessions that we've run, you know, they may or may not have been in such a diverse high school or setting if they're not coming straight from high school in their prior learning. So we are really excited to provide these opportunities to them. And I'm actually going to bring the next slide to us. This is something that is actually the end of the student's experience. Each student is asked to complete a survey before the sessions begin and then after they complete all the sessions of the workshop. And we are happy to say that everybody that has successfully completed this workshop had said a big ol' yes. This ray of sunshine coming through. Students would absolutely recommend CT101 to other students. So if you have a question as to whether or not students are enjoying this, I think right here, you know that they do. What is CT101? The 4 components that we really believe make up this program and have been able to show the strength. Collaborative teaching. Collaborative teaching was 2 teachers coming together to create this workshop. Moving forward, it's not going to be 2 teachers, but there'll be other collaborative opportunities for teaching. Peer mentors. Each session receives 2 peer mentors to guide students through this workshop. One of the wonderful things that is an outcome of this that is not part of the survey is the peer mentors reflections. And something that they've said is that they are seeing students ask questions in the first 2 weeks of the semester that they don't often usually see until week 6, 7. So the workshop is providing students, maybe not with every answer, but the new students are learning the questions that they need to ask, and they have a peer mentor who knows how to answer them. So that has been one of the most wonderful outcomes of this. Open Lab, we learn in the open. We have resources available for you as teachers, and we have resources available for students, a place to go. We teach them how to use the Open Lab as well, because not everybody comes in proficient with that platform. And you'll also learn that we teach them about other platforms that we offer as well. But we really appreciate the fact that this is all in the open, and students get to reflect in the open, and they get to share in the open, and they get access to lots of different links and resources that we provide to them. I just did mention reflection. When we were developing this program, really found that it was integral to include reflection after each and every session. You know, like any college student, some students will participate in it fully and others will not. But we have found that the reflection has the students have shown growth in their reflection, even in just 8 sessions. We ask them questions that will help us guide the next couple of workshops that we see. So we're really learning a lot from students. We have offered CT101 in 3 different sessions. In August of 2021 is when it started. We had a January session and a spring session, and we're really happy that there is so much interest going forward in the other sessions that are to come this August and the fall. A really exciting next iteration of CT101 is the collaboration with first-year learning communities. Just going to touch on this. It's going to be the same idea, except we're looking at 14 weeks, 14 sessions instead of 8 sessions. And it is collaboration with teachers in credit-bearing courses. So that's a great and really exciting next step for CT101. And hopefully you'll be able to be a part of that as well. Moving on, we wanted to share the syllabus with you. So I believe Sarah is going to put that into the chat right now. So you have access to the syllabus should you want to look at it in greater detail. This is just a brief overview. These are the 8 sessions titled. A brief discussion of each. Intro to technology is really like intro. Hi, I'm Professor Goodlad. I'm a teacher, is what we do, and the technology. So I am sure many of you know that our first year students don't know how to access Blackboard, don't know how, that they have a City Tech email and such like that. We go over that all in the first day so that we know when students are entering the classroom for their credit bearing courses, they will be ready with the technology that they need. The syllabus, we review what a syllabus looks like, what it includes, why it's there, what it means. We encourage them to access Blackboard and download their actual syllabi that their teachers have posted. So, hey, they're looking at the syllabus before they even set foot inside the classroom. In this session, it also talks a lot about what the teacher's responsibility is in the classroom and communicating on the syllabus, but also what the student's responsibility is. Jumping over a few, you paid for it, use it. You know, this is recognizing that there are a tremendous amount of opportunities for students here on campus, resources, guides, help. And we explore what it is, right? And I think that this is a lot of information may not be for the student right at the moment, but they're aware of it now. And that when they need to access it, they don't have to say, oh, does the college have this? They know that they can jump in and find what they need. Yellow Jacket Life is getting them involved on campus. Coming to terms with college vocabulary is pretty much what it shows there. And then one of the sessions that we're really proud of is a major decision. Just briefly, basically what we're helping students do is identify the resources on campus for them to help decide if the major they're enrolled in is the one they wish to keep with. And we give them a guide as to how to register for the next semester, making the decisions that they need to be successful as they progress through their college experience. We've just been pretty proud of these 8 sessions and how they help students. As we discussed, there is a 14-week session. So here, just wanted to give a brief overview. You see we add a few things and break up some of the sessions. So like a major decision is now in 2 sessions rather than 1. And we help students celebrate the success they achieved in their first semester. As I alluded to earlier, students are asked to complete a survey before and after. It's really helping us better understand how to tweak the program should we need to, but also measure what the students are learning. Here, this is samples from before, right? They want to know what the college has to offer. They want tips and advice, right? What opportunities are offered at City Tech? And these are all students before they've ever walked into a college classroom, because the target of the students were first semester students with no college experience prior to coming to City Tech. So we hope that we can accomplish this, and you'll see as we go through that we feel that we have been. The survey asks a lot of information. We're going to just give 6 subcategories here, some things that we thought were important. Take a look at that professor's office hours. We asked them if they, are aware that teachers have office hours for them. It's probably hard to see. Let's focus on that center column, that center one. And I don't know if you can see my arrow, but anyway, it says, I am aware of this academic resource and I know how to access it. So in the pre-survey, 12 students said that they were aware that professors had office hours. By the end of the 8 sessions, 32 students said, yes, they are aware that their faculty will have office hours and know how to access it. So a big shift from 12 to 13, 12 to 32 students. The next one, comprehensive tutoring, not as big of a shift, but still 5 students said that they were aware of this before the session began, and then 18 were aware of it thereafter. But regardless of what we do, we're going to see big shifts moving. This is slightly different. This is college services. So something like the counseling center. Again, looking at that center column, I am aware of this academic resource and I know how to access it. So 0 students before they began the CT101 said they knew about this. By the end, 16 said that they did. What's also nice is that first column, they are aware of the program, right? So we asked if they were aware of it, but also how to access it. So really good outcomes here in student accessibility of different things that we have. Blackboard, students came in, they were aware of this. This graph looks slightly different. So here we're going to look at the first column. So the first column here says, I am aware of this tool and I know how to use it. So before the session began, 14 students felt that way and then 35 by the end. So, and an even bigger shift for Open Lab because they would not know what Open Lab is. Student reflections, I know this is hard to read. I just, a couple of words here, experience, right? They feel prepared. So far, my experience at City Tech has been a very good one, right? And this is before, remember, this is before they've even set foot in a credit-bearing classroom. So if we can get them feeling this way before that, then hallelujah to us. It's really exciting. This showed me a guide to college life. I feel I'm ready to start my classes. And on from all the students, we hear these reflections similar to what we posted here. The post-workshop survey also asked which part of City Tech they felt was most important, discussing how to check what classes they need for their major, right? That's that major decision. I learned how to use City Tech website. We know about clubs that are offered, class preparedness. There's one thing here that real quick, it wasn't captured in the survey, it was captured in an experience that I had in class. There was a student that, kind of raised her hand early on, right? And I think it has this, it talks to this discussion about what we should expect in college. So the student raised their hand to say something, and then as they started to talk, got really, really nervous and then just closed their microphone and that was it. By the end of the 8th session, the student rose her hand, was able to speak, express what she wanted to say. And I'm just so grateful that that happened before she was in her credit bearing classes, before maybe she felt embarrassed amongst her peers that maybe she'll travel through college with. So, there are things like that that happen that the survey can't capture, but are so important. This next one, just real fast, the one on the side, do you feel prepared? So we have 44% of the students said that they felt well prepared to start college at completion of the workshop, and 49 said they felt prepared, right? So that's, well over 90% of our students feeling that they are either prepared or well prepared once this experience ended. So I hope that these positive outcomes help you better understand what our students experienced. And I am going to turn the screen over to Sarah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, and just to kind of echo what Karen was just saying, we've also seen some very tangible results with our students. We saw a significantly lower rate uh, of WN withdrawals from our students versus the general population. Just kind of, adding to this idea that like we are giving them the information that they need to make better choices, right? Which is really all we can do. But what I really want to talk to everybody about today is your involvement in this program. So you're here hopefully because you are interested in being a part of City Tech 101 going forward. And we need you, we need more people. Karen and I cannot do it alone. We have previously trained 7 other instructors, most of who have taught 1 or 2 sections in this pilot year. But again, we're expanding. And with expansion, we need more people. We need people that are excited to help our students. We need people who really understand what we want to do here. So the first thing is that we need everybody to participate in this professional development session, which is in June. Karen, if you could hit the slide. There are 3 basic areas that we're going to cover in the professional development. The first one is institutional knowledge. Everybody has been at City Tech for a different amount of time, and everybody has been at City Tech in very different roles over that amount of time. I started here as an adjunct in the English department and then moved into first-year programs. So I really do understand firsthand at the difference between the knowledge you get when you are in a departmental silo versus when you are in one of these, my current position, which is a lot more broad and overreaching. So one of the things we really want to do is kind of bring everybody out of their silos a little bit, make sure we all have that kind of cross-college institutional knowledge so that we can be those experts for our students. The second thing that we will focus on are pedagogical techniques. Excuse me. Karen mentioned before reflection, open lab, the collaborative aspect of it. These are all things that are not just add-ons to the program. They're things that we really built into the core of the program. So we need to talk about why we're using those things, how they work, and what kind of results we're expecting to get from them. So we'll definitely spend some time on that, including working with the peer mentors, which is my other hat as the director of the peer mentor, the manager, sorry, of the peer mentor program. You are going to work with these great students, and yeah, of course, I'm going to call them great students. They're student leaders in our community. The professors who have gotten to work with them so far have been just blown away. They're really great students. They have a ton of knowledge and they want to help. And so one of the things that we will definitely be working on in the professional development is how do you work with these students? They're almost more like TAs in the sense, which also, side note, they get to do the grading and some of the bookkeeping for you, which is, a great part about having a TA. And so we really want to work on how to incorporate all of this so that we're all giving these incoming students the most fulfilling experience we can. And then the third thing that is going to be focused on during the professional development is the structure of this course, of this workshop. To be really clear, this is not a fully autonomous course. There is a good deal of structure to this course. We did a lot of research outside of City Tech in terms of what works for these kinds of programs, what works for this population, things like that. And then as Karen said, as we've been going through, we've been doing a lot of research based on what our students have said, what our students have done, faculty feedback, peer mentor feedback. So there's a lot of research that goes into what is there. And we really want people to add to this structure that we have already created. Again, as Lori mentioned earlier, we're also aligned with the college initiatives and directives. So that's really important in keeping the structure because we are aimed at particular goals. Now, of course, we're going to provide a lot of material for you. We're not just going to say, follow this structure and you don't get anything. We provide the Open Lab model course that can be cloned into your own course. As you saw right here, we have a syllabus that you can use and work off of. That the syllabus I shared was actually my syllabus from this past, oh, I guess we're still in the spring, from this spring. My head is already over with the semester. We also provide the reflection questions. We provide PowerPoints that you can use or that you can kind of use as a jumping off point. So there is a lot of structure and materials that we give you. Now, of course, we want you to be part of this. This isn't just please teach everything exactly as we say it. We want you to put your own spin on it. We want you to add your specific knowledge to the course. And we've been working, like I said, we did one round, small round of PD already. And we've taken a lot of what those professors told us and what they use, and we have already integrated that into the course. So this is an ongoing collaborative effort. Go to the next slide. So here is the professional development schedule. The professional development is a total of 17 hours. It is 17 hours because we are going to ask you to do readings, that all that pedagogical stuff we were talking about. We are going to have discussions. It will not be like this info session. It's not going to be, you know, kind of a one-way street. It is very interactive the way we do this. And we just have a lot of information to cover. So you can see the first 3 sessions on June 7th, 9th, and 14th. That will be everybody together, just kind of understanding the basics, the overview, expectations. The next 5 sessions are split. There will be 2 groups. There will be the group that will be working on specifically the 8 section, and then we will have a group that's working on the 14 sections. And in that 14 sessions, we'll actually probably have some of the people who have previously taught before, so that'll be a nice little added bonus in there. All of the professional development will be in person at City Tech. We actually even have a room. It'll be in the NAM building, and Karen and I will be the main facilitators for that. Again, we do need you to be able to commit to this schedule. So make sure that you look at it. It's basically Tuesdays and Thursdays in June, starting on June 7th. Okay. And then if you could hit the next slide for me, Karen. What do we expect of you? I've said most of this already, but let me just put it out there. We expect you to attend all sessions in person. We expect you to be actively engaged, working collaboratively with others in the professional development, including the peer mentors, just completing the readings and activities, submitting the deliverables. The deliverables are basically all going to be things that you would use in your own section. So they're deliverables in the sense that, like, we need to see them, we need to see that there's progress being made, but they are things that are going to go right into your own teaching. A lot of people have found this helpful in the past just because we get to kind of look at each other's materials and see what other people have figured out, maybe that, you know, we haven't figured out yet. So it's a really nice opportunity to share some of your teaching. Demonstrate an understanding of the materials and the learning outcomes. I think Karen mentioned this earlier, but there are specific learning outcomes for every single session. So it's very clear what you are focusing on. And then just in general, we want people who are open, who have a willingness to learn, to use new information, new technologies. We're really trying to meet students where they are with this program. It is not a credit-bearing course, and therefore we are not trying to get them to bend to us. We need to bend to them a little more. And in that case, it's really about innovation, trying new things, seeing what works. And so we just want people involved who want to do those things, who like the experimentation. And that's about it. What didn't I say? Oh, I know the really important thing. Two really important things I did not say. The professional development is compensated. You're compensated at your non-teaching rate. And we will have all the specific details of that will come forward soon. Part of that is, in case you haven't noticed, there are over 30 people in here, and we have about another 30 people signed up who weren't able to attend this session today. Unfortunately, we are not going to be running 60 sections of City Tech 101 this summer or this fall. So we're so excited to have all of this excitement around what we're doing. And we just want to make sure that we can utilize everybody in the best way possible. So we are going to send out a follow-up after this meeting with a short questionnaire where we're just going to ask you a few questions about your interest in the program, your availability, and then just some questions kind of about your teaching experience, City Tech experience, and then we'll be able to figure out who will be able to do this professional development with us this summer. So it is not in a bad way, but it is a little competitive just because we don't have enough spots for everybody. So please make sure that you do fill out that questionnaire before or by May 15th so that we can go through that and set everybody up. All right. I think that is all my information. I think that's all of our information. So at this point, I think we would like to open it up to see if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask about any part of this whatsoever.
I see Nina Bennett's hand up. So Nina, go ahead.
Sorry. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I forgot I was muted. I just have my camera off because of the glare from the light behind me.
No problem.
I'm not understanding the slide that explains the required sessions. Is it possible? It's a little confusing with the groupings. Like I understand the sessions everyone has to attend, but then I guess, could you explain why it's splitting into two groups for the 8 sessions and the 14 and which groups are which? I think this is so exciting. I should just say, what a well-organized presentation. But this part I'm having trouble with. And maybe I'm not alone. I don't know.
Sarah, do you want me to reshare that slide or?
Yeah, can you put that slide, that slide back up and I can just explain.
One moment.
Thank you. That would be so helpful.
I wasn't 100% sure that was the best way to present that information.
Okay. That's okay.
When I did it.
I get the idea. I understand the beginning, but I don't understand the second grouping at all.
So the second grouping, we're going to meet, everybody will meet every Tuesday and Thursday from June 7th through June 30th. For those first 3 meetings, we'll all be together 10 to 12, 10 to 12, and then 10 to 1.
Got it.
For the next 5 meetings, there'll be 2 separate groups. There'll be a morning group from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then there'll be a second grouping from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The reason why we're splitting it is because in the 8 session version of City Tech 101, we cover just 8 sessions worth of material. They are 2-hour sessions each. For the 14 session one, the sessions aren't a full 2 hours. So some of the sessions are kind of broken over 2 different sessions. And so we didn't want to confuse people by trying to teach it as if it were all the same thing. So there is a little bit additional to the 14 session version. And so that's why they're taught separately.
I see. And so no matter what, you're meeting every Tuesday and Thursday through June. It's just a question of the time of being in the morning or the afternoon based on which group you're in, the 8-week group or the 14-week group. Do I have that right?
Correct. Yes,
okay,
correct.
Thank
and
you.
So the 14-week will only be offered during the semester.
Of course, sure.
So full-time faculty right now will not be eligible to teach the 14 session one.
Okay.
We can only have right now full-time faculty in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
So if
we
you're a
just didn't
full-time, If you're a full-time
I was
faculty member, you can only teach CT 101 during the summer. And we would love to have you teach in the summer, but if you're an adjunct or there are others here, CLTs, non-teaching staff members, you could be considered for during the semester or during the summer.
Yeah, and sorry, we just didn't finalize which session will be which time in case that there was a reason that we needed to make the 8 session morning and the 14 after. We just didn't clarify it because we want to make sure that there's no conflicts.
Wonderful.
Okay, I see Dr. Ephraim has her hand up next.
Hello, thank you so much for the presentation. I always have an interest in, first year experience. Actually, I was a peer mentor when I was in a CUNY school myself. I actually introduced it to a semi-private college that I was teaching at as well. And it is always something, and I was also a tutor, certified tutor from CUNY as well. So it is always something that has always grabbed my interest because of the fact that I realized that when students are coming in, they're not aware of the resources that are available to them. And one of the things that I always emphasize is time management, because most students coming in from high school, they have problems organizing and meeting deadlines. But my question is, and this is where my sadness is, I will not be able to make Tuesdays. Thursdays in June is fine, but Tuesdays would be difficult for me at that time. Would this be offered at another time? No?
I'm going to let Sarah or Karen answer this.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead, Karen?
Yeah, my head nodded. At this time, we are looking at the development for June, and that will kick off for the August fall. Likely, we will probably have another training in the fall semester for winter, but that's still to be determined.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to answer there's a question that's come up a couple times in the chat, so I just thought I would address it out loud to everyone. This summer we will run the workshops for students in August. We will only be running those workshops in August, not in July. Okay. The workshop for the students in August will be an 8-session workshop. So they will be 2 weeks. It'll be 4 days the first week and 4 days the second week. Okay, and I believe, Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna have 2 sessions of that.
There are 2 sessions planned in August, the first 2 weeks in August, and then the next 2 weeks, well, it's almost 2 weeks. It ends just before the first day of classes, which is August 25th. So August 24th would be the last day. And both of those August sessions, as Sarah said, are 8 sessions and 8 sessions, 2 hours a day. I have various schedules. We have in-person and online schedules as well. So, so the students can choose whether they want to come in person for the workshop, or they could also do it synchronous online.
And the workshops are, I think we've been capping them at 30 a workshop, if I remember correctly. Although, you know, like most courses, and particularly a non-credit course, we don't always get, you know, they don't all show up. So we've been having starting numbers that are a little bit below 30 for each workshop, but I think we enroll up to 30. And remember, there's also 2 peer mentors for each. So it's not just you and 30 students, it's you, 2 peer mentors who are acting as TAs, and the group of students.
Okay. And that's one of the questions from Rachel Gertzog. How many students are in each group? And how are students grouped for classes? So as Sarah said, our limit for the class is between 24 and 30. Students are grouped for the classes they self-select to participate in this workshop. It's not required. And they choose the schedule based on their on what they would like to take as well. So we don't try to group any particular groups of students together. All right,
Okay.
Amanda Almond. Hi,
Hi,
Amanda.
nice to see everyone. Nice to see y'all. I always love anything done by first year learning communities and Karen. And this presentation has exceeded my expectation in terms of quality, being evidence-based assessment as always. Perfection. I love y'all. A couple of questions. So this may be obvious, but faculty are paid for running the workshop as well. Check.
Yes.
And then the other question is for the professional development in June, if accepted. I'm curious how many folks are going to be in that. This is more of my own health and safety anxiety. So I'm just curious about the size of the in-person session for June.
We're looking at 20.
Okay, perfect. And then in addition to the instructors
and
stuff.
sorry, and we have a large room for it. So we
Okay.
have a room in which you'll be able to be, relatively spread out, but still able to work in groups.
Of course, of course. Thank you. That's perfect. And then the one other thing I had jotted down, I missed, I think I was interrupted, was on the syllabus. I loved the topic, but I didn't quite get the info, the rise and grind session. Could you just say that again? Because I was so drawn to it and then I missed what it was.
Sarah, you want to take that one?
Sure. Rise and Grind, which is a title one of the peer mentors came up with for us. Rise and Grind is about time management. It's about being organized. It's about making yourself a new schedule, right? We do what I call the time management math, where we look at what a high school schedule looks like and what your college schedule looks like, 168 hours in a week, all that fun stuff. So yeah, Rise and Grind is really like a schedule management organization session.
Awesome. Thanks so much for answering my questions.
Of course. Somebody else had their hand up before. Barbara, did we answer your question?
Yes, you answered it.
Okay.
That it's going to be a random distribution of students.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do that. I also saw, so for the summer, yes, the students are in the workshop Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 hours each day. Then they have their 3-day weekend, and then they have another 4 days like that. So it is it's like a nice intensive experience. You really get to figure out who these students are because you're meeting them every day like that. Rebecca Shapiro, I noticed what you wrote in the chat about if these students can turn into your advisees. I think both Karen and I have had the experience where students that we have taught through this have been coming back to us. So even if it's not an official kind of relationship, we definitely love that you're thinking like that, and it has been working. And the mentors are the same way. I had a peer mentor actually show up to my office a couple of weeks ago with another student, just like they were hanging out, and I was like, oh, who is this student? They're like, oh, actually, this is someone from CT101 from last summer, like, because they all had their screens off, so I did not know what this person looked like at all. But yeah, and so like they had also kept up a nice friendship or mentorship, whatever it is now. And I thought that was really nice, because that's what we want to pull people into the university, into the community, and make them feel like this is a place for them. So it is definitely working. So if we can figure out a way to, make it a bit more entrenched, that would be amazing. But it is working in that direction already. So yeah.
And if I just may, sorry, Barbara, go ahead. I don't know if it was following up to what Sarah said.
Would you consider adapting this program for a particular department? Different kind of pilot?
Well, one of the things that we are looking at as the program grows, is working with in conjunction with first year learning communities. So in that case, we are looking at a very particular population. We are looking at undeclared health and undeclared students. So in that case, yes, we are working to support those students because they don't have the supports that a student that is declared a major will have. So that is the next step and the next part of our growth.
Even the declared majors don't get enough support,
Of course,
unfortunately.
I
Absolutely.
agree with you
And I
100%.
would love to develop something like this
Yeah.
for architecture.
Yep. You know, we can talk about school specific, you know, but what we need is we need a lot more funding for a lot more students to participate, because at this point, for the number of students that participate, it would not be beneficial to have it just for the department. But as this grows and as we can prove more and more, and the college gives us more and more money to do this, then by all means, that is part of our growth future.
What is the cost involved?
Just
What's the funding?
Before we do that, I just want to say one thing is that there's also a beauty in the students cross-populating, right, and learning from each other. So we've had students that have been able to you know, learn about different majors because they're a mixed population. So Lori, the cost, I don't know that.
It's pretty expensive.
What's
Since
expensive?
it's tuition free for the students. And so we pay faculty to teach it. We've been paying faculty for the development of it. We pay peer mentors. We pay, you know, for the management of those peer mentors. So, I mean, but we're in the infancy of this program still. So we're developing it. So right now it is very expensive. As we move forward, you know, ultimately, if I could just say, my goal would be that the college would embrace this and make it mandatory for all students, and
everybody's head goes
foot
like
the
this.
bill, you know. So but I think we need to continue to develop and refine and prove that this is effective and is making a difference for our students. So that's why we're being very careful about our assessment. And, you know, we have other assessment in the works. You know, I'm tracking students' retention and GPA and all kinds of things as part of this. The funding is from CUE, Coordinated Undergraduate Education, which is a CUNY initiative, the tax levy funding. And that is also managed along with part of my menu of things that I work on. So yes. So it's expensive, but worth it.
Well, we do all that stuff voluntarily in architecture.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a call for like why we need so many good professors, instructors to do this, is because we do need to keep proving how effective it is and how much our students want it and need it. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to interfere with the plan.
Yeah. If we could just, we'll address maybe a question in the chat and then go to the raised hand. Will you invite incoming students to only incoming students to participate? That is our target. Our target is first semester students who are not ASAP and not SEEK. That is where we start. If there's a need to expand, then I believe, Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, for the winter session, we did invite some students that did not successfully complete the first semester. They had a low GPA and needed some more support. So that's how it goes. Incoming students, not SEEK, not ASAP, then students that did not successfully complete the prior semester.
And just to clarify, no SEEK, no ASAP, simply because we can't take all the students and they both already have enhanced orientation programs. And so we're trying to spread out the enhanced orientation as best we can. And we worked with ASAP and Quasi when we were developing this and talked to them about what they do for their program as well. The next question in the chat: if not selected, will be considered for another time in the future? When will we know if we are selected to attend the training? So as we mentioned before, we don't have a firm plan for when the next professional development would be, but definitely if it's just a matter of, too many people this time, we will definitely let people know next time we are doing it. And like we said, if everyone can fill out the form, the questionnaire just as soon as possible, May 15th being the deadline, we need to make the decision pretty soon after that. So it will not be long, it'll be a few days after that, because we know we need to get started, you need to get started. So we will do that as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Okay, can we get to our
yeah.
raised hand?
Yep.
Dr. Williams-Gunpot?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I was interested in terms of how are students incentivized to participate in the program, one, and secondly, are students going to be assisted in terms of travel, like Metro cards and stuff like that to come, because coming to campus 4 times, it might be a bit onerous.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question about the incentive, because we actually were able to incentivize students for this past year since the summer. So they were just provided a stipend or a gift card, not a lot of money. We started with $50 in the summer for all the students who successfully completed all 8 sessions. And then we were able to be part of the Robin Hood Foundation grant that was awarded to the college for this past year. And we were able to award students who successfully completed in January and in the spring $200 through that program. Ultimately, I feel that the incentive for doing this is that you're going to be better prepared for college, and you're going to be set up to succeed, and we hope that students would want to do it on that reason alone. We're not sure if, that being said, we're not sure if we have finances for incentivizing this summer. If we do, we will. If we do not, we won't. And then the other question, Metro cards. We do not have funding for Metro cards, unfortunately.
But students there will be at least one online. I think we're scheduling 2 or 3 online sections.
Yes.
So that's an option. And also they will, although it is not, it's retroactive, there is a stipend involved that would cover, if that stipend is still happening, that would cover the cost. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not able to provide that at this time.
If I may go on to the next question. Well, Dr. Gunpot, do you have any additional questions?
Oh, no.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure we addressed it before we went on to the chat. So the next question is, how does CT101 work with our high school population? It reminds me of a freshman seminar. Jacqueline, yeah, it was definitely, we took that institutional knowledge that we have of student transition and brought it in. So we think about high impact educational practices and that, first year program, that first year experience was definitely brought into this. So you are correct that it resembles a freshman seminar. And then the next question is about the companion. Lori, I'll let you answer that one. Will the companion be updated? Will the City Tech companion for first year students be updated for 2022?
We are working on it. I don't think it's going to be ready. My year has been really focused on City Tech 101, being also, behind the companion myself as well. So my work has really been focused on City Tech 101 and the new learning community model that we have also been developing. So we're working on it.
Yeah.
To be continued. And we would like to actually make the next iteration of the companion work alongside City Tech 101 more intentionally. So there will be some changes.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
as it stands, we do use the companion
Mhm.
within City Tech 101, although obviously they were developed separately, so they're not, hand in hand, but we do use them.
Mhm. Erica Morales, your question.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Morales. I'm the early college liaison for PTech. So I wanted to know, because we're different, from ASAP and SEEK, and we don't have the same resources, would our population of high school students be able to participate in this, or would you be willing to work with us to develop, say, something separate, similar for our population? Because I know it's tricky. Our students, they start taking college classes, their rising 10th grade year during the summer, some of them. And every year, we have anywhere between 200 to 300 high school students taking college classes. So I know that this is super beneficial to our students. So I just wanted to hear, if you had any input on that. And it's nice meeting you all.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I think that we would need to discuss that offline and consider what we might be able to do to help. So let's follow up. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Then in the chat, Amanda mentioned if external funding is a reality, has there been any talk about putting together grants and such like that? I think that would be fabulous. We've been working really to get this kicked off. That was where our big focus was, and we're now excited for the next iteration with the first year learning communities. So I think external grant funding is definitely in our future, though is not actively being pursued at this moment. But I'm in for that.
Given the time and that conversation, I think very suitable for offline. And I think maybe that's another way myself, I can participate if, what's happening at the moment isn't suitable. Even just starting by looking at some things that are well matched. But I understand the city tech culture. You want them to have the total buy-in. You have to show them that it's working. And at what point do you just say, well, we really just have to get the funding elsewhere to keep doing this. And even though the college reaps the benefits, it's a delicate balance, but it's so worthwhile.
I agree. We also wanted to make sure that, because, when Sarah and I put this together, we were the first teachers, right? So we put it together and then we taught it. And we're like, oh, this is great. Look at the student outcomes. I love it. And then we wanted to make sure that we were able to expand it. So that's when we did that professional development in the fall. And then that first group of teachers really, the January ones, yes, we had their feedback and the student feedback real quickly, but then we also had a model of the 8 weeks embedded within the semester. So, that ended just a couple of weeks ago. So we haven't really had a chance to fully formalize and look at the outcomes of the 8 sessions embedded within the week, within the semester.
Yeah.
So, again, first round, the creators taught it. Second round, it was the similar model pre-semester, and then third one embedded within the semester. So we're now at the point where we're like, this works, we can expand, and we're ready. I would love to consider that, but yes, offline.
Yeah, and don't mute me for my follow-up question, which can be online, but when's the publication coming, right? Because those two things can go hand in hand. There's no way you've had time.
Well,
I know there's no way.
But that's also one of the reasons why we were the way we designed the reflective questions was to collect data. The way that we put together the survey, making sure that the survey pre and post were able to match each other. One of the purposes for that. So yes.
Yeah, exciting. More offline.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, that's a summer work.
Thanks, Amanda.
So
I just wanted to say, that's what I was going to say.
It's 11:04 and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Does anyone have a final burning question that must be answered? Speak now. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for being here today, and thank you, Karen and Sarah. I really appreciate that all of you are so interested in guiding our new students. And we will follow up with everyone who signed up to be here today with the instructor questionnaire. and that will also, put in writing some of the things that we discussed today, like the schedule and things like that. And so that we can gauge your interest and availability in teaching City Tech 101 in the future. We will get to you, send that email by next week. So, and we'll also be sharing the recording in that email also for you. I'm sure you want to watch this again over and over again. No, for all those that could not be here today. Okay, so I will reach out to everyone. All
Thank
right.
you for participating, everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much. We're so excited to have so many people interested.
Have a great weekend.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.